Let's test Figma 2 V0 capabilities. This is a simple Figma file that we use for our own website. This is the home page. We have a couple of other pages: about us, contact us, FAQs, etc. All of these have prototype settings, so if you click on prototype, if you click here, you go there, etc., etc. I don't think V0 supports prototypes, but let's see. The first thing to do is click share, copy the link, and get to V0. So in V0, let me import from Figma. I'll enter the Figma URL that I just copied. Next. And it's processing. And it says frame is too large. Did you mean to select an inner node instead? No, V0, I want to import the entire page. That's the whole point. Okay, let's find a smaller size because this one is a larger thing. Let's go to About Us. Let's copy this link and then go to Figma. Alright. Let's see if About Us works. Now what I'm expecting is code to be generated with a preview. This is basically a Figma file preview, so it's exported it as an image and it's showing. It's extracted the colors, which is good, and it says for best results please select frames under 982 pixels. This is not going to work for long pages. As you've seen, the home page doesn't actually work. But let's go with About Us. Let's check the frame height for About Us. The frame height for About Us is 2050. So it's not optimal according to V0. Alright, let's still try this. Okay. It didn't let me create a prompt. It just took the Figma file and it's running with it. Recreate Figma design. Okay. So it has converted the Figma file to a PNG and it is creating as we speak. Okay, so it's created a tailwind config, a header.tsx, an about section, a team section, and there's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and I'll dive deeper into the actual code base. And now it's doing the footer. I don't see any project structure yet. It all seems to be components. Now it's creating the landing page and it's done. Okay. So this is does not look like the design, obviously, but let's dive into it. Let's do a side by side of the Figma design. Okay. Alright, so side by side. Alright, the prompt is here. Okay, so the header, the first thing to note is it doesn't pass accessibility. This particular text is not visible clearly, and I have a whole menu and I don't see the menu. Okay, and it's got the About Us, but it doesn't have the little tiny thing there. It has a section title. It doesn't get that, and there's no CTA button on the top right there. Let me see if I can. Oh, there is a CTA button. Okay, and it has an image, it has section title, there's some content. Did you get the colors right? Yeah, the colors are correct, but it shows the wrong gray, so it will not pass accessibility. And V0 admits that you need to do accessibility and security testing. Okay, so what about the bio section? Right, I'll give it a pass. It couldn't input the images, it's just fine. It has the name, and it has the brief blurb. Doesn't look pretty. This is more organized, and this is just like a big blurb. Did it get the social share? Oh, yeah, I can see the social share. Okay, and then the footer, again invisible, but okay. And then the cookies accept, decline. Yeah, okay. Now this is a pretty bad zero shot of the Figma to code, but let's look at the actual code. Okay, so we have a page which has a header section, an about section, a team section, and a footer section. Okay, sorry, footer, header, footer, about section, team section. Header is the menu. It has the name, it has the subtitle, but obviously it's not accurate, and this is using flex layer, which is good, and it's using Tailwind CSS and Tailwind components. Okay, not terrible. Let's look at the footer. I guess apart from the colors, the footer structure is not bad. It has all the elements. Let's look at the about section, which is interesting because it has chosen to separate out the top part of the about section with this. So I'm curious why it did that. So it has the H2, which is section title, multi-select cursor. Well, fancy new things. Okay, and this is the blurb, and this is the image. However, the way that Figma is, the design is structured, is you have section number, section title, blurb, section number, section title, and then the bio. So it has not identified the sections properly from a visual standpoint, and it split it into an about section and a team section. Let's look at the team code. This section is again using, all the styling is using Tailwind CSS. Not the biggest fan of Tailwind, but it's what's popular these days. And you have divs, you have image, placeholder. Okay, so it has a placeholder SVG. Okay, rounded full, it has identified that the image is rounded. There's text, there's the bio, and it's found the social icons, which is using Lucid React for the social icons. Okay. Okay, so it's not terrible code. Not great code, but not terrible code. You can use it as a starting point if you can, and I'll dive deeper into this. Let's add another Figma page. So let me add the contact us. So the reason I'm doing this is to see how good V0 it is at creating modularity. We saw it created the header and footer section. Let's see if it reuses it for the contact us page. And So I'm adding another page, and let's see if it connects the contact form properly in the header and footer. All right, this is okay. So 982 pixels. Let's look at the height of this frame. The height of this frame is again 1429. Not ideal. Okay, but it's a real design. Okay, so let's confirm, and I'll ask a follow-up. Can you add this contact page to the site? I'm just wondering if I want to do prompt engineering right now or after the fact. So typically for zero shot, I explain the whole thing. So let me just do reuse components that exist, then generate the contact form on submit, post to api.consumermesh.com as an anonymous user. Validate form elements, ensure that name and email is filled out. Okay, let's see what it does. Okay, image analysis. So what V0 is actually doing is exporting the Figma file to an image, and then it uses whatever GPT APIs to analyze the image. So there's a lot of information lost when you convert Figma to an image and then you use the image to generate code. It's created something. Okay. Let's look at the code first. Okay, so it's created a contact page with a contact form. Alright, let's look at the page code. It is using a header. Header is from .. /header. That's there. Footer is there. Contact form is here. Image is the Next.js image. Okay. So it is just embedding a contact form, and for some reason it has not been able to find /app/header, but it's right there. Okay, let me. It's not an IDE. So unfortunately, it was not able to create the right structure. Let's see what it does for fix this with V0. Okay, it's replaced something with @header. It's generating a new header and a new footer. Okay, not what we asked it to do, but hey, this is a challenge with generative AI. The previous context is vectorized, and to squish everything into a context window, it basically has to do it this way. Alright, we have the same bad header and same bad footer, and it has the accept decline. Alright, let's jump into the code. So it's duplicated header and footer, which is not surprising. It's made modifications to call it add components, whereas in the first place it didn't create. So maybe when I added the first Figma file, I should have said something about structuring the code. Okay. Now looking at the page, simple page with contact form itself. Let me see if it actually took the API. So I mentioned the API endpoint. in my prompt as api.consumermesh.com, but it added a /contact, minor change required, and then stringify the data. The form data is in the state. Nope, that's the submitting is submitting. It's use toast. Oh, this is it chat CN? Okay. Use form data. Use form is also React hook form. Okay. And on submit, form handle submit. Okay. Form elements, form fields, has it identified name. Okay. Type is email and type is tel. Okay, so it's identified the email and phone number correctly in the message, and is submitting, submit, blah blah blah. Okay, so not bad. The form is functional, so I can type in my name, my email, my phone number, and test message, and then if I hit submit, it'll fail because there's nothing called api.consumermesh.com, but I don't know what it just did. There's nothing in the console. Okay, coming back to the generated code. All right, here are my thoughts about the actual generated code. It's a good amateurish code gen, and what I mean by amateurish is there is no UI architecture. It uses pre-built hooks, which is good. It uses Zod for the schema, which is not bad at all. But the actual structure, it tries to componentize. It hasn't identified the previous components. So if you want to use it with your own set of components, this is going to be tough. And it has some, I'm striving to find what is good about this generated code. It feels like a boilerplate you can get off the internet. The website itself is not complicated, and the connections, let me see if the about us is there. Okay, about us, no page detected, so the about us structure is also not there. So okay, so pretty much what Visa is good for is zero-shotting components, and Figma to code is basically just that. You start out with a set of code that you then have to customize to actually generate the final version. Now, here are my concluding thoughts. Would you use, say, ChatGPT for a calculator? Like if you wanted to calculate something, would you use it? No. Would you use it for an Excel sheet? Again, no. You have a complex set of inputs, you have computations, and Excel is like pretty much a solved problem. You can use generative AI or LLMs to help you in formulating spreadsheets and things like that, but you wouldn't actually use it as a spreadsheet platform. So the category of problems that you want to solve with generative AI, with LLMs, is more on the creative side of things rather than on a problem that is structured with structured input and structured output. Now, what we're doing at Consumer Mesh is basically creating the solved problem, that is taking a Figma design and generating code out of it. Not only front-end code, but also code for the CMS. So what we have is a plugin that runs inside of Figma, reads all the prototype settings, navigates through, finds finds all your connected pages, generates a Next.js application, and connects it to the CMS. So you have a whole website preview, a dev site, a CMS, all driven from Figma. If you're more interested, check us out at consumermesh.com. Thank you.